on my thumb. Something wicked this way comes.
Then rang the bells both loud and deep. God is not dead, nor doth he sleep.
The wrong will fail, the right prevail. With peace on earth, goodwill to men.
It's 1,000 years to Christmas, Mr. Halliday.
Wrong. It's here, in this library tonight, and can't be spoiled.
Did Will and Jim bring it with them on the soles of their shoes? Then we shall have to scrape them. Will? Jim? Free rides on the merry-go-round? How do you like to be king of the carnival, Jim? The ruler of the rides? How'd you like to be grown up, Jim? How would that feel, huh? Not to be looked down at. Not to be told to run away and play. To be trusted. To be feared. To know what grown-ups do behind locked doors when children are asleep. Come out to me, Jim. I'm the father you've been waiting for, my son.
I know who you are. You are the autumn people. Where do you come from? The dust. Where do you go to? The grave.
Yes. We are the hungry ones. Your torments call us like dogs in the night. And we do feed. And feed well.
To stuff yourselves on other people's nightmares.
And butter our plain bread with delicious pain. So, you do understand a little.
Hello and welcome to Still Watching the Skies. I'm Robert Reinecke.
I'm Nat Morel.
I'm Cody Lane.
Every month we explore the lesser discussed science fiction movies of the past. Some famous, some obscure, all of which we believe will create interesting conversations. However, this is our traditional Halloween bonus episode, so all rules are off.
Especially the interesting conversation one.
Yeah. Hopefully not. Joining us is Angela Fabbrini. How are you doing, Angela?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
I think we're all doing well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This was a fun one. I'm excited to talk about
it. How is Matt doing?
Mourning the Brewers' loss, of course. And otherwise, well, had a good fall. And just, not for nothing, I do really think he's interested in a Paul Thomas Anderson retrospective. So he's been very enticed by this latest film. So I think he's gettable, is what I'm trying to say. So
I'll have to let Jim know.
Yeah. So he and Jim can hash it out over Inherent Vice again.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds fun. Anyhow, let's kind of get moving on. This year, for a theme, we're looking at a studio not known for horror films that end up creating 4 films that acted as gateway horror in the 1980s. And yes, if you're listening, you've probably already looked at the title of the episode and know that we're doing a dark Disney theme, where we'll probably be asking, what was in the water at Disney in the 1980s?
Seriously.
So, let's get started here. First up is The Watcher in the Woods. I see 1980, but I guess it really didn't get a wide release until 1981 after they did some reshoots of the ending. So I'll give a quick synopsis and some key personnel, and then we'll get on with the discussion. Americans Helen and Paul Curtis and their daughters Jan and Ellie move into a manor in rural England. Mrs. Aylwood, the owner of the residence who now lives in the guest house next door, notices that Jan bears a striking resemblance to her daughter Karen, who disappeared inside an abandoned chapel in the woods 30 years earlier. But spooky occurrences start happening around Jan, and with an eclipse coming up with similar circumstances, can history be set right, or is it going to repeat? The Watcher in the Woods is directed by John Huff, who had directed films like Twins of Evil, The Legend of Hell House, which we had in a Halloween episode a few years back, Escape to Witch Mountain, and Return from Witch Mountain. The screenplay is by Brian Clemens, Harry Spalding, Rosemary Ann Sisson, and it's based on A Watcher in the Woods by Florence Engel Randall, the novel. The cinematographer is Alan Hume, who shot a bunch of Carry On films and a diverse range of films, including Kiss of the Vampire for Hammer, Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, For Your Eyes Only, Return of the Jedi, A Fish Called Wanda, Life Force, Runaway Train, and Without a Clue.
That's a good pedigree.
Yeah, it is actually. The cast includes Betty Davis as Mrs. Aylwood, Carol Baker as Helen Curtis, David McCallum as Paul Curtis, Lynn Holly Johnson as Jan Curtis, and Kyle Richards as Ellie Richardson. So, anybody want to take first cut at this?
Is my mic on?
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
Okay, I'll do it.
Good.
This one is not for me. I found it to be a bit dry. Now, I will say I don't know, like I know which ending I watched, but I'm not too clear on the various endings. So I watched this through Archive. Uh, couldn't find it to rent or buy. And yeah, is there something with like going on with Disney here? Like why they don't want this to be seen?
Why they don't want it to be seen, I don't know. But yes, there's something going on with Disney here, and when we get to our second one, we'll have more discussion on that too.
Okay, yeah. Well, like I don't think it's like bad enough that like you wouldn't put it on the Disney Channel or like the Disney Plus platform. Like um but it's just a little slow. I don't know, it kind of reminds me a bit of like Poltergeist, but not as good. Um Overall, I just think like it has an okay mood, but then the general, I don't know what you would say, the plot or the premise is just I don't think it like really is that interesting. It's a little creepy with the Betty Davis stuff. But yeah, I don't know, like I don't even know if it's scary. Like it's it's just kind of eerie, I guess. Um like it's not even close to being as as like as like a horror film as Poltergeist would be, but yeah, I'm curious like I've never seen it before. I've never even heard of it, but have you guys seen this before or heard of
It's
it
a
I
even?
first time watch for me. All these are first time watches. Well, no, three of those are first time watches for me. I had seen Something Wicked This Way Comes back in the '80s, but yeah, this is the first time watch. Although I've heard stories about this one from people my age, because it was a Disney film. Uh, some kids got dragged along to it to see a Disney film.
Hmm.
I won't say they
Yeah.
were right out of their mind, because I mean, 1981 is after a bunch of stuff like Halloween and Jaws and that my generation had been exposed to already, but still.
I feel like this would be one where probably wouldn't see it in theaters, but would see it on video cassette.
Yeah, I think
And
that's
I can
fair.
see that as like traumatizing a generation. I actually did look up on Reddit just to see what the general consensus or opinion of this movie was. And I guess there were a lot of people who basically were traumatized or very scared of it when they were young and impressionable.
Why?
I have no idea. Like But
Like the only scene I really I thought was memorable was the one where she's in the water and sh you think she's getting pushed down, but she's kind of getting like dragged out.
yeah,
I guess
I
that was creepy, but otherwise, like, I don't know, it was pretty bland.
that said, like I wasn't scared of Something Wicked This Way Comes like this time, or I've seen it a couple times since I think I first saw it when I was little and impressionable, and that did scare me when I was little.
That
Um,
see, yeah, but that would scare me as a kid.
yeah.
There's like things you can relate to, like a carnival coming to town,
Hmm.
and like the weirdos that are in the carnival or whatever.
Yeah. But this one I do struggle. I will also say the one thing I do remember from this is, and this is a trope that I don't think ever works, is when she names the puppy Nirak.
Yeah, I
And
know.
the Nirak is Karen spelled backwards, and
I
that's the
know.
daughter of Betty
I,
Davis.
I know that's such a bad yeah, like part in the screenplay.
Yeah. Like, has that ever worked effectively? Like, I don't even think Red Rum is that good. Like that feels more like a Stephen King thing to me than a Kubrick thing.
I
Where
think it
it's
works better though. I will say that it's obviously it's Karen spelled backwards because
yeah.
red rum at least red and rum are at least two words, and it actually sounds like something normal. It makes no sense, but at least sounds like something that you could say.
I think Red Rum works. It's weird, it's creepy when the kid says it, it's weird. Narak is
Okay, Narek is like, yeah, like a rejected name for a Star Wars species, but Red Rum works in The Shining because like everything else is supporting it. Like when Danny is saying,
yeah.
like that works, and Jack Nicholson's running amok in the hotel, running around with an axe, going,
Yeah.
and you have Shelley Duvall losing her fucking mind. Like they have everything but it be the reveal of it being murder backwards going for it because it is so ineffective on its own. And this just kind of, yeah, Nirak goes to show like the second she start like even before she starts spelling it out on the window, it's like Nirak. Okay, the immediate reaction is like that's the dumbest name ever. This kid needs psychiatric help. And
Yeah.
and then when she starts spelling out on the window, it's like, oh, okay, all right. Well, at least we're gonna get this dumb thing over with, like because all right, then somebody else is gonna see it from the window. It's gonna be reversed. It's Karen. Oh my God. At least they don't dwell on it that much. But this is never like maybe the most effective one is Nilbog in Troll 2, just because everything else in that is so stupid that the reveal of Nilbog is goblin spelled backwards fits with the rest of the tone of the movie. Now, I'm not a huge fan of this movie, but at least there aren't other moments that are as dumb as this. I hate this trope so much.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Not a whole lot happens, although I think it proves that you can get a lot of mileage out of a point of view camera work. It's a few wind machines,
Yeah, that's true.
and
I yeah.
I feel it's well directed in that aspect. I mean, because nothing really happens, just kind of like there's something spooky watching her. Uh, Lynn Holly Johnson, for much of the film, and then every once in a while there's like this a spooky happening or much like a mirror crack or something like that, but not much else.
Hmm.
So I feel that they get a lot out of that. I mean, I'm happy that Betty Davis is in it, but Betty Davis is asked to do a whole lot, and I don't think they get a whole lot out of her. That certainly they could have gotten a whole lot more out of her, 10, 15 years prior.
Hmm.
Um, but she's fine, but she's celebrity cameo basically.
Yeah.
I mean, the parents don't do much, and the younger daughter, I guess she does what younger daughters do in these movies. They give dogs silly names that are spelled backwards, and maybe they disappear or get in some sort of disappear at inopportune moments. But other than that, although I guess what Kyle Richards, I guess
Yeah,
that's her name. I guess she's one of the housewives of one of those house
that
whatever shows.
that is the thing that's surprising that this hasn't had that much of a resurgence. Because like when I told my wife that, oh yeah, so we were watching this movie for the podcast, and I don't remember much of it. You get some Betty Davis in there, that's pretty cool. Some David McCallum, dude from Uncle. And then the younger sister is played by Kyle Richards, and yeah, Jasmine lost her mind, and it's like, oh, she's the worst one. She's like has all these crazy like uh phony businesses, and she's terrible. But apparently she's a big deal. Well, and I guess related to the Hiltons and all that all that whatnot. But yeah, I was surprised at that.
And Lynn Holly Johnson is in it. Free For Your Eyes Only, and I feel like there's some promise there at times, and other times she's just like reading lines.
Mhm.
And I can't really tell if she's a good actress or not. And I kind of came down that she's not good, but maybe she could get better. And then I know that For Your Eyes Only is like a year after this, or maybe yeah, probably filmed the year after it. And I go like, no, she didn't improve.
Whoa. A year after? Really?
Yeah, she's technically a Bond girl, although Roger Moore is so old at that point that they know that would be skeevy if he was hitting on her.
Yeah.
But she tries to hit on Roger Moore in that one.
I mean, that's what you
Wow.
do in a
It's as
Bond movie.
uncomfortable as it sounds.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, no, I actually do like, yeah, the cinematography in this. I do like the direction. Like it has a cool look of it. It just,
Yeah, like it has a good atmosphere. I just didn't like the overall plot, I guess.
yeah. I was very confused. Like, are they in England? Are they in the States? Like
I
half
also
the,
was confused by that.
okay, like
I thought they were Americans going to England.
I
Yeah, I
thought
thought they were
so
in England.
too, but I feel like David McCallum was British and
Yeah, I
he's
thought he was
Scottish.
British. Yeah, I thought he was something, but
Yeah,
not
well,
American. Yeah,
the actor is Scottish, but I guess they're in England. But then you also have Betty Davis there, who's American,
Yes.
Right.
yeah,
who owns the manor. So
Right.
that's confusing. And then the kids are American, and but yeah, I guess the mother is American. I don't know. It's confusing, and like the setting seems to be like
Mm. I will
distinctly.
say that I look at the supporting cast, and it sounds like this is right out of Disney Central Casting. We need some Englanders with distinctive faces, and here's what we have.
But then they have like the whole motocross sequence,
Yeah, which is weird.
yeah,
which
which seemed like more American. No offense.
yes, I mean, I'm sure the British love their cycles or whatever they would call them, but that just seems like something that would not only take place in America, but also take place like in a area that is distinctly outside of wherever in America this setting would be.
Yeah, actually, that's another scene that I remember kind of well now. I like you just reminded me. Like I thought that was actually a cool scene. I don't think it adds anything to the movie, but like just seeing people actually riding bikes and like wiping out was kind of fun.
Yes. Which I also feel is like a Disney trope of like, we have to get like a car chase into like our movies to show that we can do like some action, but we're not gonna be that edgy with it. And here we're gonna have some extreme biking, but not go too far with that either. Like it's not stock footage, but it's also like, look at this guy take this 3 foot jump. Isn't that thrilling?
Oh, I should say the version I watched had hard-coded Spanish subtitles. Um,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah,
But in
you
English,
can't.
like the audio was in English.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, you can't.
didn't really detract from the story.
Mhm.
But I don't so the ending I saw, I don't know. Like I don't see how it's different from the other ones. Like she like the daughter comes back.
Hmm.
Yeah, the daughter comes back in both endings.
Okay.
There's the alternative ending has kind of like this alien creature
Yeah,
that
you guys missed out on the alternate ending. He's like wet and slimy, and he like,
carries off Jan into another dimension
yeah,
and exchanges her for Karen, and then comes back. And then Jan comes back.
Yeah,
So
okay.
not a whole lot.
So
Of,
Ro-
ultimately the same thing happens. It's just how it looks, right?
right.
Hmm.
yeah,
Okay.
you
Yeah.
didn't get the slime
You don't
creature
get the slimy alien creature.
Okay.
That's
I
what's
mean,
with the
known as
animatronic jaws.
yeah.
It's worth watching.
So sorry to dwell on this point, but what was like the theatrical version?
Well, the original one had the creature in it, and then they reshot it, and then the creature was removed for the 1981 release, which is the
Oh,
one.
so the one I saw was the 1981 release. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
hmm.
Apparently, according to Wikipedia, it didn't test well with audiences.
Which is weird. You think audiences would be all over uh, an alien in the early 1980s. But
This thing needs something like that though. Like this
Yeah,
thing needs like a cool thing look forward to or whatever.
I
Or yeah.
agree. I agree. I found it kind of dry. Matt said it was scary. He was like, "Oh yeah, this is such a great movie."
Oh, what a
And I watched
crybaby.
it, and I kind of was like, "Uh-oh, he's in the room."
I being shit on for which one? Watcher?
Yeah.
I mean, I watched it when I was like 8.
Yeah,
Well,
that's the thing.
that's
you
the
should
thing.
go back maybe. I watched the alternate ending with the slime alien.
It's a bug.
Oh, Matt calls it a bug. It's too wet to be a bug.
It's
Oh.
It's supposed to be a bug. It's supposed to be a time alien.
Yeah, a time alien bite.
A time
Have you watched it since you were 8 years old?
I probably have not.
Okay.
Well, it's hard to
There you go.
I
find.
think a lot of it was Betty Davis creeped me the fuck out.
He said
Well,
Betty Davis creeped him out. Fair enough.
that happens to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's the other thing too that's really weird with because
That's
we
the worst of the four that I
Yeah.
what's that?
He said it was the worst of the four that we watched.
Oh yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yes.
I'm happy
Agree.
to agree with that statement.
We're all agreeing with you. Do
But
you
I mean,
want to
like
jump on?
Nope.
we've
I had heard you.
thanks, Matt. But we've watched a number of these sort of things where, you know, you have the country house, you have kids getting harassed by things out in the woods and whatnot. It seems so bizarre to introduce the sci-fi element into
Yeah.
this, like at the very end of it, which kind of comes out of nowhere. And I'm sure we can talk a little bit about that, but I also do want to get Robert's take on the whole like solar eclipse versus lunar eclipse and the scientific feasibility of whether that would reverse the effects of something that would happen at a
Yeah.
lunar eclipse versus a
Yeah.
solar eclipse.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, it's a weird thing. I don't like the idea of old cranky estate owning Betty Davis being in an alien film. That doesn't seem right to me.
It did. I agree with that. Like being serious for a minute, like it definitely felt like it was going the occult route, right? With like the whole eclipses and like whatnot. And then to know that there's an ending where it just like takes like a hard left turn into sci-fi is just a choice that somebody made that
Yeah, like
I
it'd be
would love.
cool if like the Watcher was like eating people and like spitting
Yeah,
out their skulls and like
right.
spines and like they're finding like the body parts. Like that would be better. But it didn't happen. Thanks,
Yeah.
Robert.
That would be an
Oh,
Evil Dead movie, which I will say it did kind of remind me at times of the point of view camera work of a
Yeah,
Evil Dead movie, but not as cool and fun.
I guess
obviously.
there is something to come from like equating the occult to alien life, but I don't think it really goes into that. It's more like, okay, well this ritual that we perform somehow summons an alien,
Hmm.
and
Right.
yeah,
But
it doesn't feel earned.
but not intentionally. Yeah, it's like a tone issue for me. It's like it was on one track and like it's like somebody quit and they brought someone else on. It was like, let me pitch you something. Aliens. And they were like, yeah, aliens in England in a spooky manner with like
Yeah. Well, it is
fog.
based on a book. I presume that the alien exchange is part of the book.
I believe it
Uh,
is,
yeah, I don't know.
but
I
I
didn't
don't
read the
know how
book.
significant of a portion it is. I
Yeah,
mean, it is kind of like, well, in it, where basically like they're able to defeat it with the help of like a giant space turtle.
that's
Right.
true. Yes.
That's kind of what this feels like, as out of place. But
I'm looking at the movie poster for that theatrical release poster, and it says a masterpiece of suspense.
I
That's
wouldn't say
good to
that.
sell in the film.
Yeah.
Wow.
They don't want to say it's a horror film, so the suspense is the word that they use.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Although, that's like in the 1980s when Swamp Thing lost its Comic Code Authority stamp. They said sophisticated suspense is how we're going to sell the book as.
That's okay. That is way better. Not just suspense, but sophisticated
Yeah.
suspense.
It's like they insult you like ahead of time. They're like, well, if you don't get it, then like that's your problem,
Yeah,
right?
you're
'Cause you're
not
not
sophisticated
sophisticated. Yeah.
enough. Betty Davis
Yeah.
is looking down on you and spitting on you.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh, I wonder too if this is kind of like Close Encounters of the Third Kind came out prior to
Yeah.
this, and hey, we'll get an alien in here.
Yeah,
We can have an alien.
We'll
you know,
have like somebody who was abducted, and
you
now we
know,
have to get him back.
Amityville horror came out before, and kids are in peril there.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
if
I
kids
mean, it's the
don't
80s.
have
There's
something
no,
else, yeah.
yeah. I mean, like, kids in peril is fine. Nobody had a problem with that in the 80s.
Mhm.
Not even parents.
Not even
No,
parents.
especially not parents. It's like,
Yeah.
it's been a long day
Back
at
my dog.
the smoking plant. Like, we're just gonna sit you down in front of the
At the
TV and
at
watch
the
some
cigarette
Betamax.
factory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Get out there.
Now, I do want to ask though, Robert, I realize that this is somewhat science fiction and this is a cult, but if something occurred, say, during a lunar eclipse, would the reverse happen in a solar eclipse?
Well, that's a good question. It sounds like the basis of a book or a movie.
It's flawless logic.
I can't argue with it.
No.
I guess for our audience, we all know the difference between a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse, but for our audience,
Right.
can
Right.
you give us a quick rundown of what the differences are?
Well, I mean the lunar eclipse is when the Earth passes between the moon and the sun, and it blots out the moon.
Hmm.
And solar eclipse is where the moon passes between the Earth and the sun and blots out portions of the sun.
Hmm. So in both cases, like the sun is blotted out and we are engulfed in darkness for thankfully a short period of time, right?
Right.
Right. So wouldn't the actual opposite of that be when we have sunlight?
Now you're making sense here. So,
Okay.
but it
Well,
doesn't
You're
sound as
not an
cool. You don't get to do
engineer.
the cool solar eclipse inserts into your movie then.
hmm I mean, I guess like also, why does it have to be the opposite? Like, is it the Nirac Karen thing? Like, hey, we're doing opposites again. But why can't it just be another lunar eclipse? Like
That's a good
they
question.
have
My
30
lunar
years to
eclipses,
wait
yeah, lunar eclipses happen
all the
fairly
time.
frequently though. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Solar
why,
eclipses, you could be waiting a while.
yeah. Well, you could get like 30 years like this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they're that infrequent.
No. I mean, Betty Davis could get off her ass and redo the ceremony, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, I was not very scared by this one. And
Or entertained, to be honest.
yes,
I
like
was Yeah, I did, as I said, I did like the cinematography and the point of view camera work, and I thought all that was fun. But wait for more of a payoff than we got. So
Mhm.
I did like the um alternative ending better because I thought it was more of a payoff, but it's still not great.
Mhm.
I will say the one way to get the film, it was released on Blu-ray 2021, and it has the unreleased alternate opening as part of its bonus materials, but it's not
Whoa.
available on streaming. So
Yeah,
I'm not
did
sure why Disney makes these calls, like what gets put on their platform or doesn't. Like there's got to
Who
be other
knows?
stuff from like their their live action stuff that's not on their platform, but I don't
oh
know
there is,
everything.
yeah. I mean there is stuff that they don't think will be popular, but I feel like if they put Watcher in the Woods on their platform, people would watch, especially Gen X with a lot of nostalgia for the era
Mhm.
would watch.
Well,
Yeah,
they just dropped Something Wicked This Way Comes. Like,
Oh, speaking of
Yeah.
which,
speaking of,
yeah,
uh,
I was very surprised about that. I mean, I will say this: Washer in the Woods and Something Wicked This Way Comes. If you go to any torrent site, you can find them very easily.
Mhm.
yeah,
is
but
is that the
But
next film we're talking about?
yeah, Something Wicked This Way Comes, which we had the wonderful surprise of it dropping on Disney Plus this month.
Again, proving that they listen to us.
no
Apparently.
kidding. You're welcome, Disney.
It made quite, at least it made it enough buzz in the circles I travel in that people picked up that it was coming out and were excited about seeing it. So, let me do the essentials of this one. So, Something Wicked This Way Comes came out in, was it 83?
Mhm.
Okay. In Something Wicked This Way Comes, right around Halloween or right before Halloween, Cougar and Dark's Pandemonium Shadow Show carnival comes to the town of Greentown, Illinois. And it's up to two boys named Will and Jim, and Will's older dad to stop the supernatural going ons related to the carnival. The film is directed by Jack Clayton. The screenplay is by Ray Bradbury, although Jack Clayton supposedly did uncredited rewrites, and he and Ray Bradbury had a falling out because of that. It's based on the novel Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury. The music is by James Horner. Cinematography is by Stephen H. Burham. It's edited by Barry Mark Gordon and Art J. Nelson. The cast includes Jason Robards as Charles Halloway, Jonathan Price as Mr. Dark, Diane Ladd as Mrs. Nightshade, Royal Dano as Tom Fury, the lightning rod salesman, Vidal Peterson as Will Halloway, Sean Carson as Jim Nightshade, Mary Grace Canfield as Miss Foley. Um, Pam Grier as the Dust Witch. Did I miss anybody important there?
I don't know.
Did you say Jonathan Price?
I did say Jonathan
Okay.
Price, and I think that's his first screen appearance. I want to say.
If not, it's a really early one.
His hair is dark.
Hair is dark,
Appropriately.
and there's lots of it. he, yeah. So, do you want to get started on this one, Nat? Especially since it's based on a book.
Sure. So, as Robert said, Something Wicked This Way Comes is based on a book by Ray Bradbury, and this is one that I had seen previously. This is probably the one I've seen previously, like the earliest. And I remember this one really creeping me out when I was little. And I don't recall if we actually had like the VHS or if we rented it or something like that, but my sister really, really liked it. Um, and yeah, it's something where I didn't remember that much of it, but just like certain bits of it kind of stand out in my mind, like the tarantula sequence, especially the sequence from I
Ooh.
think it's the barber, like when all the women are like dancing around him.
Mm-hmm.
Just like especially creepy. And the poster also kind of freaking me out. And it's a fantastic poster too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but No, and I was able to find it I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or so, and then rewatch it and like I'm kind of liking this more and more. And then this time I really really like it quite a bit. And I'm not a huge Ray Bradbury fan, but I do like quite a bit of I like his stuff, and I don't really love it. But I think one of the things that's really really strong about this one is that you do get to spend a good deal of time with the kids. You do get to spend a good deal of time with like the community and kind of get to know the people in it. And I like there's little stories with like each person, and it really does set the scene very convincingly. But there's also something that is a little, maybe not really magical realism, but something slightly supernatural with it. And I don't mean like, with the carnival and Mr. Dark and all that, but just setting the stage with like different, with the names, like the name Jim Nightshade. It's a great name, but nobody ever has ever had that name. Or like Tom Fury, who's selling lightning rods, is just a little out of the ordinary. Like some things that are just a little bit off. There are some fantastic names though. Tom Fury is a great name for a lightning rod salesman. Um,
Cougar and Dark Pandemonium Shadow Show is a great name.
yes, it is. The Dust Witch is a great name. But I think what I really like most about it is just everything with Jason Robards in this. And
Yes.
I think the kids are fine, but Jason Robards as a dad, and like as a dad who is older than a dad should be for kids this age, I think
Yeah.
he is fantastic in this, and just I think so convincing how there are physical limitations to like what he can do, but he still has like the sense of humor, this like personality, and kind of like a little bit of whimsy, like the thing of his kids keeping him a little bit young, but also he's a very, very intelligent guy. And he, like librarians to Ray Bradbury, I feel are like writers to Stephen King, but like they're better in Ray Bradbury. And just everything about him, and like when he has a confrontation with Mr. Dark, and not like where Dark is ripping out the pages, even though that's awesome. But like when Dark comes to the bar and is asking about the kids, and Robards knows something is up, and just kind of like how they play, and just the subtleness and the menace that are undercarrying that, I think is my favorite scene in the film. And I'm a sucker for like a kid crying out that he loves his dad. So you know, that hits me as bizarre as it is, and as odd as it is how everything works out in the end, with Tom somehow escaping from this torture device and then running down a hallway of mirrors and stabbing Pam Grier with a lightning rod. But no, I really enjoy this, and I think Robards just is easily my favorite part of the movie. But there's a lot of really good stuff in it. How about you, Angela? Angela is on mute.
Like you could tell that I was drinking something at the moment. Um, yeah, I agree. I agree with pretty much everything that you said. I enjoyed this one. I thought the storytelling, I mean, I don't want to like compare it back to the other one, but I think the storytelling was more engaging. I think the whole town has um something in, like you said, there's like kind of these vignettes and like stories about the community members. And I think it sort of foretells like how they're going to sort of infiltrate, or like what their weaknesses or like their deepest like desires are. And I loved how they um unraveled that at a pace that like kept you very interested in what was going to happen next. And it was a little bit disorienting. Like it had all the production hallmarks of a Disney movie, but it is quite dark, and it touches on a lot of like dark Disney themes. And so like at times I would sort of marvel at the fact like this was a Disney production, because it was surprisingly dark. I mean, for lack of a better word. That Pam Grier was great. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
did like a triple take. I was like,
Same here.
I didn't look ahead of time at who was in it, and like it, like I was so delighted to see like a early Pam Grier dust witching it up, like just being creepy and seductive. So that was wonderful. And yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Like it was the first one I watched of the movies that we're talking about tonight, and it really got me in the Halloween October vibes. So yeah, I was really glad to have watched it. Robert, what did you think?
I well, I knew I was gonna like it because I seen it back in the '80s, but I also read the book and I reread the book just for this podcast, and I enjoyed it again. Some of the thoughts I have is that the you reading the book, you can see that it obviously had a big effect on Stephen King. The little inf details about the small town folk that get
Hmm.
entwined in it, and I feel like the two young kids had an influence on it, and kids in peril, and uh, kind of felt like a little bit of be careful what you wish for, you might
Hmm.
get it,
Yeah.
kind of a needful things thing. So
Hmm.
I feel like all of that is in it, and I feel that it's a very good gateway horror. It captures some of Bradbury's language because Bradbury can be quite flowery at times and lyrical, and I think they use it in just the right way, especially in the library scene between Price and
Yeah.
Jason Robards. I think that's the best scene in the film, and I think both of them come in and kill it in that scene, and that Autumn People speech is appropriately creepy and biblical, I guess. Well, maybe not biblical, but whatever the source is, it sounds like it's biblical, and it works. And Price turned out it just the two of them kind of sparring verbally is just great. I want more of that. Um, I mean, I feel like James Horner's score kind of reminds me of Harry Potter about 20
Yes.
years before the time.
Yep.
So I wonder if stuck in John Williams' head because I feel like
Hmm.
some of that is there. Um, but I think Price is suitably menacing and very good, and he looks like to me like a young Alan Rickman at times too. So I thought that all worked.
Oh yeah.
So I love the look of the carnival. Um, I do feel that the kids were a little miscast, or at least aren't they're not Jason Robards, but I felt that they were a little young. They read like 10-year-olds when they really should read like almost 14, and just close to adulthood that they could taste it
Hmm.
and being tempted. And I didn't feel that these guys were ever read as anything other than little scamp kids. So, um, they didn't read like on the cusp of adulthood at all, and I kind of felt that was a trick that was missing there. But otherwise, I thought it was pretty good. Although I do feel like the some of the special effects are their reaches beyond their grasp, especially when you get towards
The
the end
Mist.
there and the hall of mirrors and the tornado that whips up. But overall, I had a good time uh watching it, and if it's not a perfect adaptation, and if somebody were going to remake it, I think that'd be a good idea. But I think this is a perfectly good movie, and it shows the promise of what Disney doing some light horror could have been, and I think there's a lot to recommend here. So I quite liked it. So how about you, Cody?
Yeah, I thought this was by far the best of the four we watched. I would watch it again with someone who hadn't seen it. I like the special effects. I like yeah, the score. I don't normally notice score in film, but I really liked it as well. And yeah, like overall, like I think like I would agree with what Nat was saying. Like the casting is what makes it really good. Like especially Jason Robards. Um, but also Jonathan Pryce was great. It does make me want to read the novel. I've never read it. I've read other Bradbury, but not this one. So, well, I've read his sci-fi stuff, but
It's a very breezy read. Lots of 5-page chapters.
yeah, it just seems like a like it's just a yeah, it just seems like a story that I would like it just seems like something like not like a universal story, but like something that like yeah, would bring you back to like childhood or something.
Hmm. Yeah, like
I'm not
I
sure.
think
Like
the
I
quick
feel like
resistance.
I feel like this could easily be remade now by like Del Toro or someone like that,
Oh, that would be good.
and it would do really well. Like kind of how he did. Like what was that film
Nightmare
noir
Alley.
that he remade? Yeah,
Nightmare Alley.
Nightmare Alley. Yeah, like if he did, maybe not so over, not so glossy like that one is, but I think he would do a
Mhm.
good job. Um,
Yeah. I like I there's kind of a grittiness, I guess, to this. Like nobody is really strikingly handsome, and I like the kind of more natural look of this. Even the carnival itself, like it's it's showy, but it still is kind of like a little bit more groundedly showy.
And
Even
kind of run down too. It's not,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, like no, I think I'm more or less agreeing with you, Cody. Like if it's not that glossy, I don't want to see like washed out colors, I guess, that
yeah,
come with like so many other things in this. And I don't know, like I feel like the Jason Robards thing is really what really makes it for me in this movie. And I don't know if there's an actor like who would be able to pull it off as well in this, because he looks older, and he's not an especially handsome guy. And I think that really helps like sell the performance and sell everything within within the film. And I think it also helps too that like the screenplay is by Ray Bradbury, and it's probably one of the few times where like the book has been adapted not just by the author, but also the author is pretty pleased and has like some degree of input throughout the entire stage of the process up to final cut.
yeah, and
Um,
he's had a lot of like up till this point, he would have had a lot of adaptations already. Like
mhm.
not by him, but like which I think they were the
Yeah.
ones prior to this were had mixed results.
I mean, they have
Um,
the Illustrated Man and Fahrenheit 451, and by this
Mhm.
time, um,
well, didn't
the,
they also do the Martian Chronicles for TV?
yep,
Yeah, with like Rock Hudson or something, which I've
yep.
never seen, but I heard it wasn't good. I don't know. Like I think it's a pretty like you kind of have to be in the mindset like this still is a movie for kids. So like
Yes,
as a kid this would have scared me.
Mhm.
Now it doesn't, but
it's kind of
like
the
it did
gateway
feel like they
horror
were
of the
kind of like
time.
restraining a bit,
Yeah,
like because like it is for kids, but it's not at the same time, I guess. Like it still works for like
Mhm.
like an adult watching it, but
Yeah.
um
But it's not gory. And it's also in a weird place where it's like it takes place, I think, in the 1940s. And even though it's being made in like the 1980s, like we're as far removed now from the 80s as the 80s were from when this
the
was. But
40s, yeah.
I feel also like I wouldn't want them to change the time period of this.
No,
Like,
it doesn't work unless it's in the time period. That like it would make no sense if this
we
is
don't have traveling carnivals in the
yeah,
film.
exactly.
well, you have exhibitions and it's less
Yeah.
about like creepy guys and more about like, burnt out drug addicts or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and you wouldn't have
no,
like the
like this
big
only works as a period piece,
Mhm.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah. But it also, I mean, maybe it's our age too, but it feels like there's a bit of a timeliness with it that it's like I would say I think it takes place in the 1940s. I know it takes place in the past, but it's recent enough that it's like it doesn't feel overly like a period piece, if that makes sense. Like it's
Yeah,
easily
no, yeah.
relatable enough to the time it's in.
Yeah, and like I didn't grow up in the States, obviously, but it does feel like a sort of a classic small American city, like kind of how
Mhm.
everyone knows each other. There's a nice community. Like I really like that about it.
It
Mhm.
feels like a precursor to it in many ways.
I was going to say that's a pretty spot on comparison too. Like with what you were talking about, I think also when they talk about how the carnival shows up every 30 years or so. Um, and
Hmm.
then I think too, like uh, parts of Salem's Lot also seem to be a little bit inspired just with kind of like how some of the people are um, like the relationships among the town and like some people who are kind of looking to get away from it or don't like the provinciality of it and how this evil force can kind of like take up residence in it and then corrupt everyone and then they all become kind of like his legion. So like when they're doing the parade, where like basically the town's been converted to members of the carnival. Um, and then yeah, like you said, needful things. Like there's more King in here than I thought.
Well, written before King, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's certainly
I
influenced King,
yeah,
or I would say it'd be latter King at this part because it hadn't come out yet in book form. Needful
yeah.
Things hadn't come out in book form, but certainly Bradbury's an influence on King.
Well,
Um,
that's what I mean. Sorry, like not to suggest that Bradbury was taken from King, but the King was taken from Bradbury.
right, yeah, really heavily influenced, and you can tell it, especially as you go more on into King's career. It's like, yeah, this is obviously an influence on it, and an influence on it in very important ways. Although, as I said, Bradbury's more flowery, but the King. But sometimes the floweriness works, and I feel that you put that flowery dialogue in the hands of Price and Jason Robards and let them go at it, and you
Mhm.
get some real magic going on there.
Yeah. I think it also helps too to have it like be from the perspective of kids and maybe like
Mhm.
E.T. is something that maybe got this pushed through a little bit, but um it feels like I'm more willing to give a pass to these sorts of things when it is kids because I guess you can see some of it as being like potentially their imagination or that just the nature of like yeah kids capacity to embellish things or hyperbolicize
Mhm.
things kind of fits well with like say a tarantula attack or like an evil person moving into town where like there's no reason to suspect that these things aren't actually happening within the film um but uh but you can kind of like I guess suspend your disbelief a little easier when you're seeing it from the perspective of a kid.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. And you can certainly say, some of this is exaggerated or embellished, but I will also say that I think Robards arc as the older father, you kind of wishes that he could be younger, but not at that cost. I
Hmm.
I feel that's probably the most effective character beats in the film
Hmm.
and the heart of the film. And this is one of Jason Robards' best performances, if you ask me.
I would agree. Yeah. No, he is so convincing.
So convincing and so likable. I mean,
Hmm.
maybe he is idealized, but still, let him be idealized. He's such a great character, a great. You can tell that all the love that Bradbury had for his father must have been translated to the character.
Hmm.
All right, what's next?
Well, next we're going to jump to 1985
Hmm.
and the Black Cauldron. The Black Cauldron is an animated film from Disney, which finds the quote assistant pig keeper quote trying to keep a pig who can see the future away from the Horn King who is trying to find the mystical Black Cauldron. The film was directed by Ted Berman and Richard Rich. The screenplay is by a ton of people, and that kind of, I think, is reflective of the film itself, but I'm editorializing. It's based on the Book of Three and the Black Cauldron by Lloyd Alexander. Um, the cast includes Grant Bardsley as Taryn the Pig Keeper. Uh, Susan Sheridan as Princess Elonway. Freddie Jones is Dalbin, a farmer, and Terrence Master. Nigel Hawthorne is Feudor
Neuter Flav.
Flam, a bard. John Biner is Gurgi. Phil Von De Caro is Creeper, the Horror King's goblin-like assistant. John Huston is the narrator, and John Hurt is the Horn King. You want to take this one, Nat?
All right, do for two.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is, I think, maybe third or fourth time seeing the Black Cauldron. This was something too where I never saw this as a kid, but we had the Sierra game, the Black Cauldron, growing up, and my sister and I and my mom, we played this probably uh pretty compulsively for at least like a year or so. So I have a lot of memories tied to the game, and it had in the box like stills from the film itself, and we were like always so confused because you could never find this, and we never knew why you could never find this because you could find like every other Disney movie. And then as you grow up, you hear about like the dark period of Disney and this being basically like, the close enough to being the nail in the coffin for the animation wing of it. And so I was very happy when I finally caught up with it, when it finally became available. And yeah, I have a soft spot for this. I feel like it's something that just has or had a lot of potential. I knew people who read the books, and I think I read some of, I think, the original one, which I believe was the Book of Three. I think the Black Cauldron's the second book in the series or whatever. But um,
I
it's
hear the books are good.
yeah, I think the books are pretty widely praised and really get into like a lot of Welsh mythology. But as much as I really want to like this film, and there are aspects of it that I really do like, it does fail on a lot of things. I feel it really got cut down a lot from probably like what the original script was. It moves, I think, a little bit too fast, doesn't really take that much time to build up some of the characters, and I think a lot of the characters have potential. I hate Gurgi. Uh, and as much as I liked Gurgi in the game, I hate Gurgi in the movie. Um, and yeah, just obnoxious. But I love the animation. I think it looks fantastic. I love the backgrounds in it. I really do like that it's going for a very dark edge of it. I think it creates a really compelling world, and I would really like to explore a lot more of this world. If there were something like, if this were released today and were done kind of like animated today, I think it would fit way better, potentially if they stuck to the books more and got into like more of the mythology, like an animated Game of Thrones. I think this would be something that would be phenomenal. But I doubt that'll happen. And we have the Horned King, which I think is awesome, and I think John Hurt's awesome, and I think John Huston just narrating everything is awesome, or at least the opening of it, like three sentences in it. And you get a lot of boob jokes in this one, maybe more than you normally get for a Disney movie.
Yeah, that scene with the witches and the frog getting stuck in her breasts, like I was like, what is going on here?
Exactly. Yeah. It's the 80s, man. But
Yeah. I've never seen it before. I've always heard about it. I didn't really know or understand that it was a Disney film. I thought it was just made to look like a Disney film from the 80s. Um, so was this one kind of like buried as well? Because it's also not on the Disney Plus
It
streaming.
is on Disney Plus.
Well, not
I
in Canada.
well, maybe not in Canada.
Yeah.
I think it's
I
just
had to
not
buy it on
popular.
Amazon.
Yeah, I think it's just not popular. So whatever the complications are, we're taking an American film and putting it on in the Canada version. The Disney decides not worth it,
Hmm.
but it is readily available.
Okay. Yeah. Um, yeah, this seems to be like almost like a sort of like forgotten though for Disney because it's not really mentioned like much or it's like or maybe it isn't, I'm just not aware of it. But like when I think of the 80s for Disney, I'm thinking like The Rescuers, like
mhm.
This
the
one
Sherlock
bombed, so take
Holmes.
that into account too.
Yeah, like but like in the 80s it was like Sherlock Holmes,
Hmm.
The Great Mouse Detective,
Yep.
what was like else in the
Fox and the
80s? Like
Hound,
Fox of the
yeah,
Hound.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Fox and the Hound, yeah.
Oliver and Company.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah, Oliver
you
and
get to the
Company.
late 80s, you get the Renaissance with the Little Mermaid.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like,
So
we don't have anything to do with that Black Cauldron flop.
Yeah.
it's sort of like the animation style reminded me of Don Bluth. I'm not sure if he
Mhm.
worked on
Yes,
it
it did.
or if they were just like the guys who worked with him when he was at Disney just were working on this, I guess. But
I think he worked on this for a little bit,
Mhm.
my understanding, and then he had the falling out with the company, and
and
I
then made
feel
his
feel
own
like a lot
film.
of Dragon's Lair front comes from the Dark Tower or the Black Cauldron into Dragon's Lair, the game. But um, Bluth may have just been barely involved in it. Apparently, Tim Burton worked on the film for like a day or two. They asked him to come up with some ideas, and he really said and not much of anything he came up with ended up in the film.
Hmm,
But he did technically work on it, not enough to get a
interesting.
credit. Yeah,
Mhm.
you have dark ideas. What do you have for us? No, we're not going to use any of this. Basically what it was. Um, yeah, I have very mixed feelings of this film, and generally I feel it has some good ideas, some good dark ideas, and it's like they decided we can't release it. We have to mix in a bunch of comedy and water it down. And then because they do that, nothing really kind of sticks in there. It's not really funny and it's not really scary or it's not Lord of the Ring-ish, but it seems like it could have been. And
Hmm,
I feel like this seems like prime candidate for Disney to remake and do something with or make into a Disney Plus series
Mhm.
and just go with it, and they probably have something there, but it didn't make money then, and there's no reason to think it'll make money now. Um, so I have really mixed feelings. I don't like Gurgi either. Gurgi can just go commit suicide and die. You don't have
Yep.
to bring it back, as far as I'm concerned.
Boom.
oh geez.
Oh,
I didn't mind Gurgi. Um, but
Tyron's okay, but he just kind of doesn't end up making a whole lot of difference there. Um, Princess Ilone is nice enough. I mean, there's they have a little bit of they fight her and Taryn. They're both attracted and fight with each other, but that doesn't seem to go too much. It feels like they have a lot of ideas that don't really amount to much. I mean, the witches are fun. I'll give them the witches being fun and kind of funny. The creeper I feel is more annoying than amusing or scary or whatever. John Hurt is very good, but it's just kind of like for every good thing there, I feel like there's an equally wrong-headed part of it that's there. Though I will say I did like most of the animation here. You can see the richness of classic Disney animation here, and I feel that's nice, and you feel like almost there, but Disney at the '80s just was not prepared to do this, especially if they
Hmm.
were going for a G rating or whatever they're going. I think it's very scandalous they got like a PG rating at the time,
Mhm.
if I recall
Oh, really?
correctly. Yeah. I think that was part of it, and that was part of it. The parents were up in arms about Disney really releasing a film that was so dark. Though, I mean,
I wouldn't
not
say it's
dark
that
compared to
dark.
anything else you would see in the '80s, but
Yeah. That seems a
Disney had
bit
the
that seems a
spectrum.
bit of an overreaction.
I agree, but I feel that's what the reaction they received too, and they were trying to water it down at every step they could, and even then they couldn't. But I feel like the final portion where the Horn King is reviving all these undead zombies to go to be an army to march against the living, I feel that's very effective and scarier than it has a right to be. It probably was necessary to be,
Mhm.
and I feel like that's the most effective part of it, besides John Huston's introduction. And I wish
Mhm.
there would. If you made all of it like that, I think it was kind of awesome, but probably would have made even less money than it made at the time.
Hmm.
I I don't know. I maybe, but
Angela, what's your take on it?
you'd remember it more.
Yeah, it feels like they're trying to do too much or too many different things. And so it's like there's the fairy folk, which is like one vibe, and then there's like the dark, like Dungeons and Dragons feel of like, the uh main antagonist, and like I don't know, it just feels like there's these very distinct like pieces that somebody felt like, well, we gotta have this or that. And so it just doesn't fit together. There were parts I really had to like focus my attention because it was like losing me. For what it's worth, I I think I have seen this like when I was really, really young. I think we saw this in a drive-in movie. Um, I would have bet a lot of money there was not a pig in this movie. I have no memory of the pig, and like the pig is like the whole point. So I was just like, I don't know. Like I only remembered very small snapshots of this movie, so that was kind of entertaining to watch it again as an adult and like see which parts stuck out and which parts didn't. I think the pig is the best part of the movie. She's beautiful
Henwin's
and
pretty
sweet.
badass.
Henwen is I would go to battle for Henwen. So um but yeah, the princess, like she doesn't really do much. She just sort of reacts to everything that's happening. I don't know. It's even for Disney in this period, it feels like a weaker piece. It's not it's not as like entertaining as I would expect it to be, or that some of the others from this era uh that I felt like were. And it does seem to like take heavily, like there's like Fantasia themes, like the sort of like archetypal Disney pieces kind of inserted in. I don't know. It felt messy to me and not a complete thought. Sort of, it was more of like a impression of like what this kind of movie should be. Um,
How close was this to Sword in the Stone? Was it
I
like it was after, right?
Yeah,
I was
It's
gonna
one of
14
ask
the
years,
that.
I
60s.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this
Or
seems too close to Sword in the Stone, maybe like
Yes.
not in time, but just like in like something like that they've done already.
Yes.
well, it
And
is it
I
is
really
based
like
on
Sword in the Stone.
Same.
Welsh mythology, and a lot of Arthurian legend comes from Welsh mythology.
Yes.
Um, so at least like from the source material, there is, I think, considerable overlap there. But yeah, for Disney to do both of them, um, Yeah.
Even like the
It's an
character
odd
seems
choice.
kind of similar, like in both
Hmm.
movies a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Similar enough that I actually thought I was sitting down to watch Sword in the Stone because like they're transposed in my head. Um, and I was disappointed that there wasn't like the as much
Squirrel
action.
sequence. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It doesn't have the emotional
I think I get
highs
this
and lows.
confused with The Last Unicorn, which I always see on streaming platforms. I've never seen that one either. Um, but now I won't get it confused.
Well, certainly quality of animation, you're not gonna get confused.
Yeah, true.
Shots fired. Last unicorn.
Yeah. Jeez.
So Disney still was the gold standard for animation for the most part. With this is the time when Bluth was challenging them.
Yeah,
Right.
I think I like the Don Bluth movies a bit more in this period than the Disney ones, but
I
Certainly,
agree.
The Secret of Nim is a much better film than Black Cauldron if we're talking dark animated films of the period.
With rats.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like this is something where there is so much more potential, and like if there were a 3 hour cut where they replaced like a lot of the dialogue, but kept like a lot of the animation, kept up on some more of the world building, and maybe cut out like some Gurgi or revamp some
Oh
Gurgi
man.
and revamp that asshole fairy who follows him around and is just pissed off at everything for
Oh,
absolutely
the
no
crabby
reason.
one?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't like him either. I don't know
yeah.
what his deal is.
Get rid of that bum.
Yeah.
Um, I don't mind Fluter Flim as much as perhaps I should. And yeah, I love that design of the Horn King, and I like the design of Creeper too. And and I did laugh, and I think I laugh every time Fluter Flim says to the guy who's chaining him up that like you look like a sophisticated fellow, and the guy just looks at him blank and like drool comes off his mouth, and it's a solid joke there.
This kind of reminds me of like when I tried to watch Ralph Bakshi films and I had really high expectations because they
Oh
looked
yeah.
cool.
Hmm.
And then I watched them and they're like, ah, those are kind of disappointing. You know.
It depends on which one. Are you talking about like Fire and Ice and Wizards?
Yeah, like the ones that are fantasy,
Hmm.
uh, like when I was younger, I thought they looked so cool. And then I finally watched them, just based off the posters, and then, watched them like, oh, that wasn't too great.
Hmm.
And that's kind of what this was. I feel like it was a bit just kind of uneven and
Yeah, I can see that. Like you'll get some like batshit crazy sequences or events or dialogue in some of the Ralph Bakshi stuff. Like like Wizards where, the end duel is just the one wizard just pulls out a gun and shoots the other guy. Like
yeah.
it's abrupt, but it's also like kind of oddly entertainingly abrupt. But yeah, I get what you mean.
Anyway, yeah. Shall
I will
we?
say that I think the voice cast is pretty good in this one.
Hmm.
Maybe better than the material that they're given, but they're good. I mean, you get John Huston to narrate a animated film, you're in good hands right off the bat.
Yeah.
And
Well, he
I
did
think
the
John Hurt,
Bakshi Lord of the Rings.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, John Huston, Lord of the Rings. I thought like, okay, I mean for Lord of the Rings, maybe a little bit, not quite that, maybe I'm in for the Hobbit. I could deal with that. And it seems like, yeah, this is sub the Hobbit at times.
Hmm.
Although the material seems to be there that it doesn't have to be. But I'm just talking at this point, aren't I?
Yeah, I agree.
Let's move on to the final film.
The final film, also released in 1985, um, is Return to Oz. So the summary is after the tornado has hit the farm, things have mostly returned to normal, albeit Auntie Em and Uncle Henry have no patience for Dorothy's tales of Oz. So much so that Auntie M drops off Dorothy with a doctor that specializes in electroshock therapy. But Dorothy escapes and is washed away to Oz, where she finds the residents turned to stone and must defeat the Gnome King and Mombi. Turn to Oz is directed by Walter Murch. The screenplay is by Walter Murch and Gil Dennis, with based on The Marvelous Land of Oz and Ozma of Oz by L. Frank Baum. Produced by Paul Maslansky. Cinematography is by David Watkin, with uncredited work by Freddie Francis. The cast includes Fairuza Balk as Dorothy Gale, Nicole Williamson as Dr. J.B. Worley and the Gnome King, Jean Marsh as Nurse Wilson and Mombi, Piper Laurie is Auntie M, Matt Clark is Uncle Henry, uh, Emma Ridley is the girl in the hospital / Princess Ozma. Voice cast includes Denise Briner as Belina, the talking chicken. Sean Barrett is TikTok. Brian Henson is Jack Pumpkinhead. Deep Roy is the Tin Man. Lyle Conway is the Gump. I guess I can lead off this one.
Yeah.
I feel like there's stuff I really like about this one, and there's stuff that I go, who is this film for? It's really dark and disturbing at times. I mean, Dorothy about to get electroshock therapy is kind of a shocking way to open up a film. Well, I mean, it doesn't open it up. It's like 15 minutes in, but still, it's like, how dark are you willing to go here? And then you get Mombi, who has basically exchanges heads and keeps the rest of them in cabinets around her lair. And I mean, I feel that the people being turned into stone isn't so bad. Oh, haven't even mentioned the Wheelers yet, have I? It's like, I thought this was a children's film. And maybe it still is, but and maybe it's partly my fault. Like I have expectations of the 1939 film, but then it's Walter Murch apparently has other ideas too. But I feel the Wheelers are impressive and scary, and I don't know if Jim Henson was credited on this production or not, but it feels like Jim Henson could have been. So I mean, once I settled in and got used to what it was, I was okay with it. But I still said, why are you pitching this as a sequel to this lovely, beloved family classic? Because this is not a family classic. This is a nightmare film for kids. Um, and I feel like what it is, it's actually pretty good at times. Although I feel that Walter Murch is a wonderful editor and sound designer, but maybe he's not a great director. He's just kind of like, we'll point the camera and people will move, but we won't do a whole lot otherwise with it. But he's good enough, and the production design is really good, and I really like. I mean, Fairuza Balk is a good Dorothy, not Judy Garland Dorothy, but she's a good, probably more realistic Dorothy. And Nicole Williamson gets to ham it up as the Dumb King. I think he's really good. Um, but yeah, I have really mixed feelings about it, just because it's so dark and disturbing, and maybe doesn't quite live up to the family classic status it should. But uh, I'm interested in other people have, because I don't know if I have strong opinions either way on it, other than it's much scarier than it has any right to be, and I'm kind of impressed with that. But I also understand why, yeah, audience stayed away from it. Although I feel that Siskel and Ebert in particular were very unfair to the film. Um, but what do you think, Angela?
I agree. Uh, it's shockingly darker than the first film. And I readily admit, I don't think I've read the second two books. So maybe that tonal shift is taking its cue from the source material. But yeah, the electroshock was like, I mean, I knew I was in the right movie, but I was like, wow, this is a Disney movie, and they're gonna like hook a child up to an electroshock
Not even
therapy.
a child, beloved Dorothy Gale.
Right, Dorothy Gale. I was just like, wow, I'd seen this like, I don't know if I saw it in a theater, but like I saw this when I was very young, and all of that like went over my head. And so to watch it again now was like, wow, like this is a different movie. Really leaning heavily into kind of darker themes versus, the first film, which certainly like I think greater. I think there's a lot of people who have like scary memories of like the monkeys and that sort of thing, but like overall, it is not what I would say like is a dark film.
Margaret Hamilton is, I guess, scary but also fun.
Right.
I don't
Right.
know. I think they're just scary in this one.
Yeah. And I just felt like, again, like the big bad, like the Troll King, like I was like, that like went on for too long, and uh, the end didn't feel earned. It was like that isn't the force that we were originally fighting, and like I don't know, like I know that there's like a lot of political pinnings in at least the source material, and so maybe that made more sense if I had read them, but it just felt like they introduced like a new faction, and that one's taken over, and we're just gonna go fight that one, and then like then everything's okay. Mombi was great. Like I think Mombi fit into sort of the um I don't know, the like sort of formula, but it certainly had dark moments, and the Wheelers are just weird. I would love to see an interview with those people who had to do that. Like, are they really doing it? Like, I have so many
Yeah,
questions.
they look like they are to me.
That's what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
But it's hard to believe. I mean, if you think about like having to, I don't know. So I mean, like they're visually, I think they did really bring us back to Oz again. Um, but a lot of it was different, and didn't always completely fit together. But also Dorothy seemed younger, and that was hard to get over initially. That like not only am I like supposed to believe like Oz, like she's you get the impression she's fairly recently back from Oz, right? Like they're still rebuilding um from the tornado, but she was so much younger, and she read so much younger that it was a little bit
Yeah, she read almost like 8 years younger or
Hmm.
something.
yeah, yeah. And so it took me a little bit to stop that thought from coming up as I was watching the performance. It was a good performance for her. Um, nothing against her performance per se. It's just that um, when you're trying to tie it all together, it was a little bit tough to swallow. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting entry into the pantheon of Return to Oz's, and sort of like steps back into that world. So interesting. Cody, what did you think?
I liked it. I've never seen it before. I've always heard about it. This would probably be like if I saw this as a kid, I would have probably got pretty freaked out by it. Like just the overall journey that she goes on. It doesn't like it like not only is like the the stuff that is in the movie kind of dark for a children's film, like electroshock therapy and being in a family that's very poor and you're rebuilding your house and then going back to this place that you loved and it looks like so horrible and depressing. Like just that is a lot for I think a kid's film. And like I would have been pretty bummed watching this as a kid, even though I wasn't a big like Wizard of the Oz fan or whatever. Um, because for a lot of the film, she's just kind of walking through these rooms and kind of assembling a crew, but it's a little slow. I think it gets better near the end, like the last 30 minutes is a bit better. But I did like the ending. I liked like how eventually she got her group and then she got the original people from Wizard of Oz. Um, it seemed like maybe this is obvious, but it seemed like the group that she was assembling are they're kind of weird demented versions of like the original crew, like
Yeah.
the jack-o'-lantern guy seems like the Scarecrow,
Yep.
the fat little robot seems like Tin Man, and then the chicken is kind of like the lion, I guess. Um, although I guess the moose is like the lion too. Like the whole moose taxidermy thing, like getting roped, and like attached to like a couch and then made to fly, like that thing is creepy. Like, and that would have been creepy for a kid to see. Um, and then like you lose all, and then yeah, like she loses all of her friends. Yeah, like it's like this to me is like the darkest Disney of the bunch here. But I thought the special effects were awesome in it. Um, like the way that like the sort of rock formations would move.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I can't tell if it's
It's
early
some sort of stop
computer
motion.
animation or if it's stop motion.
It's stop motion.
Yeah, okay, so
It's
that's pretty good.
claymation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. Like it looks really cool. Um, the ending is kind of wraps up a little too fast, but I do like the Troll King sequence part.
Hmm.
But then yeah, like in the final part where she gets sent back. Like I kind of want her to spend more time in Oz because she finally gets back to the place that she loves. So that's a bit of a bummer, but yeah, it's interesting. It's not like perfect, but it is a weird sequel. Like, especially for being made so many years later. Like, is it a sequel, really? I guess it is, right?
It is a sequel. They pitch it as
Yeah.
a sequel. I mean, she's been there before she returns in this one.
Mhm.
Yeah, like
They
like how
probably
many
would have
movies because like how many movies have a sequel that far apart? Like not many. Like
not many. I mean,
yeah, very few.
it's like 46 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did just have Beetlejuice, which was 36 years.
But still, yeah. It's, I
Yeah,
mean,
because no one from the original film
admittedly,
is really involved in this, right? Like, or
Hmm.
at least I'm not aware of.
no, there were still a few people alive, but yeah, nobody involved is involved, and um, yeah, weird. I mean, I think you've been better off if this was going to be your tone, and you're going to do the redesign of the characters as they are. Maybe you should just remade the Wizard of Oz to begin with.
I don't know.
That's a
Yeah.
I like that they did this. Like
Yeah.
I love the redesign. I feel like I think the worst crime is that okay, we're gonna skate off the popularity of the 39 film, but everything else I think they go out of their way to be distinctly different. Like I think they also are like really trying to match the source material. Like the character designs are, I think, way more closer
Yeah,
to the
and
source
that's the impression
material.
I got too, was that okay, they must be and I haven't read the books. Like they must be trying to really be more faithful to the books
Hmm.
Yeah,
than anything else.
Like,
And that's
I haven't read the
and for
book
me
either.
like that I can always appreciate. Like
yeah.
I
Well,
will kind of give it a pass if it doesn't work, but I still
es-
like that they tried.
especially like the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion, who aren't in it that much, but their design is way more like the books. And I think Dorothy is younger in the books. There is a little bit more nastiness and like desultoriness to the Oz books. Um, and I think like the 39 film definitely built a lot on the source material and
Mhm.
obviously added like some banger songs to it, whereas this one I think is really trying to be way more faithful overall to it because I think all these characters do appear, even if they are maybe lighter versions of it. But I feel they also have like personalities that are still distinctly different. Like, yeah, TikTok's basically like this version of the Tin Man, but he's also very different from the Tin Man
Yeah.
and has like a lot more practical application than the Tin Man.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I love Jack Pumpkinhead, um, but he's probably pretty close in terms of like being the more sensitive one, but he's also a little bit more goofy, a little bit more scared, and I feel like he doesn't have as much of a connection maybe to Dorothy. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, I do like that, they still kind of make that connection of like the real world antagonist is also like the fantasy or Oz antagonist.
Mm.
But also she kind of gets in over her head. Um, and also in terms of terrifying scenes, like the Hall of Heads
Yes.
is also should be mentioned.
Dorothy Gale, and they all scream at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I will say I feel that they give Piper Laurie a lot to do, and Auntie Em is more fleshed out in this version than she is in the original. Same with Uncle Henry.
mhm.
But to what to go, I'm not sure. But they are more fleshed out. They try to make them bigger. I don't know if they. I'm sure they thought this was going to be a franchise. Well, after this, we'll just adapt the next book in the next book or
Mhm.
two in the series. There's a lot of books,
Mhm.
and I do feel that
How many books are there?
There's like 2 dozen or something. There's like an insane number
What?
of Oz books.
Holy smokes.
Like
All, all by the same author?
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see. So this one is like Marvelous Land of Oz and Ozman of Oz. All right, the Oz series.
Yeah, so I noticed that like in the credits they said it's an adaptation of two books. So are the books like short that they can kind of smush two plots together?
that's my impression that they're
Yeah.
maybe 100 pages
Hmm.
or
Okay, so
so.
there's 14 um 14 Oz books by Frank Baum, and then there's story collections, one, two, three of those with like what, 5 to 6 stories or so each. And then there's additional Oz books from the 20s by Ruth Plumley Thompson, and that's what, 15 to 33.
Hmm.
So that's what, 18 additional books. Then there's 3 books in the 40s, taking it to 36. There's 2 other ones in the 40s to 38, 39, 40, and then additional books like from the 50s. So yeah, there's a ton of Oz books.
Wow. So yeah, they could really just keep going.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
like I think it's a unique movie. It's not perfect. I think it drags in the middle, but I do really like the special effects and the various characters and the set pieces I think are pretty good.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. But I also feel like the thing that sits weirdest for me is that like at the end of the original Wizard of Oz, I'm relieved that Dorothy gets back to her family. I'm not
Hmm.
as relieved with this because, like, you bastards
Yeah, me
took me
neither.
to the insane asylum where they performed electroshock therapy on me. You think I'm
Yeah.
suffering from like mental illnesses, and who knows what you're gonna put me under next? Like, I don't have much hope for Dorothy at the end of this one.
Well, yeah, and also like she just got back to like, making the world great again, and then she has to leave.
Mhm.
I was kind of hoping she would spend some time there, and yeah, but whatever.
Well, and
Um,
even at the end where Dorothy like sees Princess what's her name in the mirror
mhm.
and starts calling to Auntie M like, "Hey, check this out." Like I'm like, "Oh, darling, no, no," because
Yeah.
when you get
Gotta keep it
there,
quiet.
yeah, Ozma's not going to be in the mirror. M's going to be like, "God damn it, Dorothy's gone nuts again," and who knows what's going to happen next? Like,
Gotta find another doctor.
yeah, pretty
There
much.
is a funny, well, not funny, I guess, but there's an interesting line where they say, "Oh, we were so worried about you. Like the place got struck by lightning and started on fire.
Yeah,
Everyone survived except for the doctor. He ran in to get his machines or to save his machines."
yeah.
Um, like, yeah, that's just a weird like they make the doctor and electroshock therapy seem like so demented, which it is, but um, yeah, like they make the doctor seem like a bit sadistic.
It's yeah, and it's also kind of like a Roger Rabbit thing where we're like, well, I guess the world's safe for now, but also like this is the early 1900s and we're living in a time where it's like, well, we're pretty sure that they kept using electroshock therapy well through the 1960s, so
Yeah.
it's not like it's a temporary fix at best.
Also, the way that the doctor introduced it to her was so creepy. Like he was trying to make it seem like a friendly, like, toy. Like here's the eyes, here's the nose, here's the tongue. Isn't this
Yeah.
Mhm.
isn't this fun?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's pretty dark right there.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that's not good
I
bedside manner.
I do appreciate that they did not actually give her any electroshocks, but still, they came awfully close.
Well, and
Yeah.
and the thing too is like I'm not entirely convinced Dorothy isn't crazy at this point, too.
Well, I didn't see the film, so I was thinking, okay, how does she get to Oz? Like, does she get electrocuted and then
No.
and then like she gets sent there? Like I was thinking, like, is that what's going on here? But thankfully it wasn't. Um, they made it some other
Well,
reason.
there's
So
there's like people screaming in the hospital. There's like
yeah.
people running around in gowns. I mean, like that part is really I I was taken aback at like how dark that piece of it is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure though if I saw it as a kid, I would have not understood that.
Hmm.
No, I didn't either.
Because
I didn't.
because I don't think I would have as a kid known about electroshock therapy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I probably would have been like, "Oh, this is a weird doctor's office or whatever." I don't know.
Yeah, like I would be more probably confused than frightened by that. I would have been frightened by the Wheelers and the Hall of Heads. As an
Yeah,
adult, I'm way more freaked out by the idea of like putting Dorothy in electroshock therapy.
yeah,
So,
yeah. But
Robert, you're the
it's an
scientist.
interesting movie.
You're the scientist. Explain yourself. Why did you let science get this far?
He's not a scientist.
I'm an engineer.
Same thing.
No. Oh, boo.
I can't argue with her. She's also well, only because she's also an engineer. So like I'm as scared to argue with her as I am with Robert.
People tried things and they thought they would work, and history has proven otherwise.
I mean, if anything, the movie would suggest this made Dorothy crazier.
If anything, yes, I would agree. And I have no idea if it's in the books or not, but if it was, I have to think the books are even more messed up than I thought they were.
Yeah.
I feel like
Um.
the books don't often go out of their way to explain how Dorothy gets to Oz or don't spend much time dwelling on it.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, they want to get you to Oz because that's what people are there for.
Hmm.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so they just get you there and then have some fun adventure.
I think she's in Oz by like the second page of the first book.
Hmm.
Well, that's good.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's how you should do it sometimes.
Hmm.
I mean, I appreciate the backstory of the first film. Though I don't know if I really should call it the first film. The original film, how's that?
Hmm.
Yeah, the original.
Yeah. Or
So
at least the one
are there
everybody knows of, because I guess there were silent films of Oz even, but still, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay. Um, so are there other dark Disney films that we missed? Or is this like the main ones that people refer to? I'm not too familiar with dark
Well,
Disney.
I mean, they would release uh Little Mermaid shortly and make $1 billion and say, yeah, this is what we ought to be doing, and they did that shortly. So this is kind of the end of the road. But I mean, before that, I would count The Black Hole as kind of
Hmm.
dark Disney.
Oh,
Um,
right. Yes, Black Hole. Yeah.
and probably, to a certain extent, Escape to Witch Mountain, Return from Witch Mountain probably would count.
Gotcha.
Um,
Well, and they also
Tron,
did
maybe?
they did like
Tron.
was it Touchstone or Dementia or whatever, like basically
Yeah,
they would produce these, but they would just be under different
yeah.
production house.
Mm,
Touchstone
gotcha.
or Hollywood, was it? That
Hmm.
they had? Yeah. But they were not marketed as Disney films.
Hmm.
So
Mm,
Let's see.
okay. Cool.
and once people uh did associate with Disney, I think that a lot of those films would have been better received. It's kind of like you put the Disney label on it. Uh uh it was like we were expecting a certain kind of film. If you strayed with it, it was at your own peril.
Hmm.
Dragon Slayer would be another one that Disney at least co-produced and worked on.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Condor Man. Let's see here, but that's not really a Night Crossing.
Don't know what
Uh,
that is.
let's see.
That sounds like a Escape from East Germany film.
With John Hurt, Jane Alexander, and Beau Bridges.
Oh,
And
I like Bo
yes,
Bridges.
it's East Germany and West Germany. Exactly. So yeah, but Touchstone was their R-rated.
I
Uh
mean, all the other studios were making good money on horror. Um, Disney did not for whatever reason. I guess yeah, none of these were really successful. Maybe Watch of the Woods was the closest to successful of the bunch.
mhm. I do feel like a lot of these though like did have some life on VHS, or at least Return to
Yeah.
Oz was something I had heard about a lot, even though I
Hmm.
hadn't seen it until this watch. But I feel like a lot of people of our age, or like maybe at my age, are at least familiar with it. So it's something that
Yeah. I feel like Something Wicked This Way Comes was kind of a cable perennial
mhm.
in the 80s.
Yeah,
And then it went away for a long time, and you could not find it.
and tradition that continues to this day.
Yeah. Although I don't know why. I mean, when you look at what they have on Disney Plus these days, I mean, I can watch Alien films on Disney Plus.
Hmm. Well, you can
So,
watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia on Disney Plus.
yeah. So,
And Justified, which I have.
Mm.
yeah. So I feel like trying to put all these in the vault is kind of a weird decision, but I mean, I don't think there's a whole lot of demand for Watching the Woods at this point, though maybe I'm wrong.
Hmm.
But it feels like you're not gonna besmirch the Disney name at this point. Um, I mean, Disney Plus. I can watch a whole lot of worse things on Disney Plus.
Hmm. Yeah, but I also feel like they are becoming more and more general with their stuff. Like you go on Disney Plus and it's like, okay, well, we have Star Wars, we have Marvel, and
Yeah.
then they have like a bunch of other franchises. So it is kind of like reaching broader and broader
Yeah, this
audiences.
Disney's name does not mean a whole what it used to it at this point. It's not promising you a certain entertainment or a certain experience.
I think
It's
Disney
more like,
itself is, but like it kind of is now split into a couple different things. There's like the Disney family, which includes a lot of
yeah,
very well-known brands. But if you say like I'm going to see a Disney movie, you can still have a reasonable expectation of like what that movie is going to be.
yeah. I mean, really, what the only thing that they seem to have banned that I could still understand is Song of the South. Everything else, I feel like is fair game to be on Disney Plus at this
Mhm.
point. At least
Yeah.
should be.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be stuff I'm not aware of, and I may never be aware of that they have withheld for good reason, but who knows?
Let's see if they have the Cowboy Castaway with James Garner on Disney Plus, because they have a big poster of it in the Polynesian resort at Disney World. So I'm
Mm.
surprised if they don't have it. Oh, okay, they do have it on Disney Plus. So then I take it back. I may need to watch that then.
But I do know that, even if I have mixed feelings about certain of these films, I do feel that they're all interesting films in their own right, and maybe Disney got in the way of making them all successful to a certain extent.
Hmm.
But I do feel that there is certainly a lot of childhood nostalgia for all of them.
Hmm. I commend them for at least like taking some chances as maybe like it's strange that the chances they took though are maybe more like psychologically disturbing than like
Yeah.
gory or suffused with sex or whatnot, um, which is kind of more admirable. And but I also don't know if I would want that many more of these kinds of films, or at least Watcher in the Woods and maybe Return to Oz. I would like some more Bradbury adaptations, or at least like, yeah, like maybe it's like, well, I guess these are all adaptations too.
Yeah, they
Like,
all are, and that's kind of the Disney. They're never were much for original, and I don't think anyone would pitch an original horror film to Disney to begin with. It's like,
mhm,
oh, we're not going to do that. I mean, I feel like I saw somebody online trying to argue that uh, uh, something wicked this way comes out a horror film. It's dark fantasy, and I go, what's the difference?
mhm.
Or if there is a difference, it's very slight.
I think there is a difference, but I don't think it is dark fantasy.
No,
So that's
yeah, I
what
don't
I
either.
would say to that person, whoever you're talking to on the internet. But
Yeah, that jerk.
dark
Well,
fantasy is
I
like high fantasy, but where it's like has a very, like nihilistic tone to it. Like I
uh,
wouldn't call this like I wouldn't call something wicked this way comes dark fantasy. It's just a horror film
yeah. I mean,
or it's a horror story.
maybe like
Yeah.
something like Michael Moorcock, I would call dark fantasy.
Yeah, I don't think that's what it means though. I think dark fantasy
No,
like the quintessential dark fantasy is that Japanese comic Berserk.
hey,
Yeah, I don't think it's like just things that are like kind of scary.
no, I agree. I agree. I mean, there are fantasy elements to something when this way comes, but
Yeah, but
it's
that's a
also
horror
about making
film.
deals with the devil, basically. So
Yeah, but it's supernatural. It's not
yeah,
like high fantasy like Lord of the Rings or like,
no,
like Dragonbone Chair or whatever, or like the Wheel of Time or something.
no, it's not. It's very much playing in a well-established field there of horror.
Yeah.
Creepy Carnival's
Anyway,
been there for a long time. Um,
yeah, that's a bit of a tangent, but
yeah.
um Okay, you guys want to wrap her up?
Sure.
Sure, I think it's good. Well, it's good having you on, Angela.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween, Angela. And
Thanks,
Yeah,
happy Halloween,
guys.
Nat and Robert.
Happy
yeah.
It was,
Halloween, Cody.
as always, it
Robert.
was wonderful to watch these
Oh,
movies and talk it over with you guys.
question for the group. What horror films are you watching for the month of October?
Ooh.
Ooh.
I have just watched, I don't know if I'll continue watching, the first Nightmare on Elm Street. I've seen it before,
Wow.
but it was
Uh,
playing at my local theater.
Well, I plan on taking my nephew to go see Night of the Living Dead.
ooh.
Cool.
So that'll be fun.
Nat,
And
what are you gonna watch?
I actually watched Possession, which is an
That's
exhausting movie to
that
watch.
is scary. Yeah.
Um, and I don't know, I am kind of looking forward to the It Welcome to Derry series,
Hmm.
but I don't know how well Stephen King has fared in recent years. Like the Salem's Lot thing from I think last year was,
Oh, I did not like that.
yeah, that was not very good. Um,
I
Yeah,
hear The
I
Long
didn't like
Walk
that
is
at all.
good, but not TV.
that's true. I need to catch up on like regular films too. I still haven't seen One Battle After Another, and I'm disappointed with myself for that. Maybe watching some playthroughs of The Colonel's Bequest, but I don't know. I don't have
Oh,
too
I'm
many
talking
horror
horror
movies.
films, not just films. I'm talking
I
horror
know.
films.
That's what I'm saying. Like Criterion kind of let me down with their September releases. I was really hoping for like some good pulpy horror films. Oh, I did watch
Except
What Flies
they gave
Be.
you a Altman series, and
Yeah, like I already seen that and all that shit. But what about you, Angela?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Oh, I gotta, if you don't know, I'll recommend
Yeah.
Friday the 13th 6.
Whoa.
Is
That's
that
a
Jason
deep
Takes
cut.
Manhattan?
that's
No,
Jason Lives.
that's 7.
Okay.
Jason Lives
No,
is
no, no, 8. Sorry, 8.
Oh.
My bad.
someone
6,
is
I think you'll
Jason
like
Lives
6
scary.
6, Angela. It's very tongue in cheek. It's very meta.
Okay, I can do
Yeah.
that. All right.
You should watch that in Jason X.
I haven't
Is
seen
that the
Jason
one where
X,
he's in
but
space? Is
That's the
that the
one with he's
space
in
one?
space.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna recommend. I recommended this to Jocelyn because she was like, she's been making hedgehogs for like the kids at school, so it's become like the hot new thing. And so
Wait,
she
making hedgehogs?
like crochet
yeah.
little hedgehogs with like beads
Oh,
on them, so they're
okay.
kind of like little fidget toys. They're
Oh,
really cool.
cute.
Yeah.
Cute.
She's made like 40 of them.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, like she's a trooper, and I commend her
Oh,
for that. And she's made many kids very, very happy. Um,
I
but it
She
can take
should
a little.
sell those to those
was gonna
kids.
say,
Well, I tell her that, but no, she's too
Or
nice.
their parents, I guess. Make their parents buy it.
Well, like the
drop a
kids take
link to the
orders.
Etsy store.
The kids take orders, and like one of the kids is like very sweet, and like she's gotten really sweet thank you notes, and like she's also gotten a list of like one kid who has like a whole regimen for like her parents and to perform while she's at school.
Oh my gosh.
How to take
That
care
is
of the
too
hedgehog.
cute.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But she was like looking for things to watch, and she was like, I've been doing a lot of true crime. That's kind of fun, but something a little bit different, maybe in the same
Yeah.
vein, something that's not like that gory, something that maybe has like a little bit of a historical context to it. And I'm like, oh, you should watch Idi Amin Dada. That's on Criterion. I think you should like that. And
Oh my
no, she really
gosh.
liked it. And I love that movie. And no, it's fun. And when I first saw it maybe 10, 15 years ago, I was like, man, I can't believe people would kind of fall for this guy. Like he's too buffoonish
Uh-huh.
and it still seems
Here
kind
we
of
are.
appropriate now. And
He won the Oscar for that, did he not? Or when he was
Idi
nominated?
Amin,
That
Yeah.
was last thing in Scotland that Forrest Whitaker won for.
yeah. No, this
Oh,
is
okay.
a documentary from the 70s, so it's actually like interviewing Idi Amin up close. Like you,
Oh wow.
it's insane.
So you're
And
including this as Halloween viewing?
I think it is, in terms of maybe something that can be psychologically disturbing, something that applies not just to our own country, but many, many countries. Um, no, it's definitely worth a watch, and it's like endlessly engaging.
I'll check that out.
And it's short too. So
Yeah. Well, speaking of short, I gotta say I'm having a Halloween party this year, and our watching is gonna be Something Wicked This Way Comes, and of course The Immortal Freaks.
nice.
Can't get
Cool.
better than that for creepy carnivals.
What about Carnival
No.
of the Souls?
Well, you could watch Nightmare Alley, the original and the remake, but
Oh yeah.
up to you.
I like
wouldn't.
the original. I like
Yeah.
the remake.
I might need to rewatch the remake, but I mean the original, if you just stop after he goes back to the carnival, it would be so much better. But
Yes. You have the ending from the remake with the original. You'd probably be A-okay there.
I think they could probably just stop it.
You'd probably
Even
stop it just too. You stop it like
because
1 minute earlier.
they like it's more subtle in the original, like how everything kind of comes back to it, and then when you start to realize it, it just gets like creepier and creepier in the original. Like I feel like it's way too telegraphed in the remake, but
That's fair.
I don't know. I need to
I also think Bradley Cooper's too old in the remake for the part.
He's also a little
He's
too
as
slimy.
old as Tyrone Power would have been.
Well, Tyrone Power reads younger.
What? No way.
I don't know. Also, Bradley Cooper just is always kind of slimy.
That's
And
fair.
and Tyrone Power, like he has some charisma. Like I see more of a downfall there. But oh well. Either way, those are good choices.
Okay. Well, those are good choices. If we don't have much more Dark Disney, they'll do. So that should wrap up this episode. If our listeners have questions or comments, you can email us at skiespodcast@gmail.com. Post on this topic on Facebook, on our Facebook page, or also feel free to share a link on Facebook and Twitter or wherever else. You have social media. So thanks for listening. We'll hope you join us later this month for Little Shop of Horrors. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Watch the skies everywhere. Keep looking. Keep watching the skies.